Before the first stone of the pyramids was ever laid, and before the Greeks even had a word for wisdom, there was a secret pulsing beneath the scorched earth of the Nile Valley. A secret that the world has spent 5,000 years trying to forget. We're taught that civilization began with a spark, but the truth? The truth is it began with a whisper etched into emerald that refused to stay buried. Imagine a time when the boundary between the physical world and the divine was so thin you could reach out and touch the very fabric of creation itself. Well, modern history wants you to believe that our ancestors were primitive hunters clutching at shadows. The reality is far more terrifying and far more beautiful. Deep within the forgotten archives of the African continent lies a lineage of knowledge so potent it didn't just explain the universe, it gave man the keys to rewrite it. This is the story of Thoth, the architect of the gods, and the Emerald Tablets that contain the blueprint of human consciousness. If you think you know the origins of science or religion or the very nature of your own mind, you are about to realize you've been reading the footnotes while the original manuscript was hidden in plain sight. For centuries, we've looked at the Great Pyramid and seen a tomb, but if you look closer through the lens of the Hermetic tradition, you see a machine designed to bridge the gap between the terrestrial and the celestial. This wasn't built by muscle and whip alone. It was built by the application of universal laws that defy our current understanding of physics. The figure at the center of this cosmic storm is Thoth, a being who existed before time began, and who saw the rise and fall of civilizations like ripples on a pond. In the African tradition, he is the ibis-headed scribe, the one who records the weight of the heart and the movement of the stars. But Thoth is more than a myth. He is a frequency. He represents the moment humanity first tapped into the great mind. When he purportedly inscribed his wisdom onto tablets of emerald green stone, he wasn't just writing a book, he was anchoring a vibration into the physical world, one that still resonates in your DNA today. We are told the emerald tablets were found in a hidden chamber beneath the paws of the Sphinx, but the location is less important than the content, because the content is a mirror that reflects the Godhead within you. As we peel back the layers of this ancient mystery, we find that the roots of Hermeticism, the secret philosophy that fueled the Renaissance and the scientific revolution, don't start in Europe or even in the Hellenistic world. They start in the heart of Africa. The Hermes that the Greeks worshipped was nothing more than a shadow of the original African Thoth. They took the name, but they couldn't fully grasp the depth of the science behind the spirituality. The ancient Egyptians, the Chem people, understood that everything in the universe is mental. They knew that the laws of vibration and polarity govern every breath you take and every thought you think. This wasn't just a religion, it was a technology of the soul. They understood that the universe is a symphony of sound and light, and if you know the right notes, you can change the melody of your own life. But this knowledge was deemed too dangerous for the masses, so it was veiled in allegory and hidden in the dark corners of mystery schools. Think of the sheer weight of what we are discussing here. If the Emerald Tablets are real, and if they truly originated from an African civilization that predates our recorded history, then everything we believe about the timeline of human progress is a lie. We aren't a species that is slowly evolving toward enlightenment. We are a species with collective amnesia, trying to remember a peak we already reached thousands of years ago. The tension of this realization is enough to break the mind. We look at the stars and see distant burning gas, but the ancients, they looked at the stars and saw themselves reflected in the celestial mirror. As above, so below isn't just a catchy phrase, it is the fundamental law of the fractal universe. It means that the atom is a solar system, the solar system is an atom, and you are the observer that gives it all meaning. This realization is the first step toward the power that Thoth promised, but it comes with a price. To understand the Emerald Tablets, you must first be willing to let go of everything you think you know about who you are. The journey of these tablets through time is a saga of blood and shadows. They have been sought by kings and alchemists and conquerors, all of whom wanted to harness the power of transmutation. They wanted to turn lead into gold, but they missed the point entirely. The true alchemy is the transmutation of the human spirit, from the leaden state of ignorance to the golden state of awareness. The African origins of this wisdom suggest that the cradle of humanity was also the laboratory of the gods. While the rest of the world was struggling to survive, the people of Kem were mapping the internal dimensions of the human psyche. They were the first to map the soul, and they did it with a precision that would make modern psychology look like child's play. But why was this knowledge suppressed? Why do we learn about the Greek philosophers but stay silent about the African masters who taught them? The answer lies in the power that this wisdom gives to the individual. A person who understands the Emerald Tablets cannot be enslaved because they realize that their reality is a product of their own consciousness. Imagine a world where you are the master of your own frequency. That is the promise of the first tablet. It speaks of the keys to life and death and the path to the stars. It describes Thoth's journey from the sinking continent of Atlantis to the land of Kem, where he planted the seeds of a new civilization. This narrative isn't just a historical account. It's a symbolic map of the descent of the soul into matter. The tension between our physical limitations and our infinite potential is the engine of the human experience. We feel it every day as a deep yearning for something more, something we can't quite name. That yearning is the call of the Emerald Tablets. It is the echo of a forgotten heritage that is screaming to be recognized. As we move deeper into the text, we find instructions for the children of light to rise above the darkness of the material world. This isn't about escaping reality, it's about mastering it. It's about becoming a sun in your own right, just like the pharaohs who claimed to be the sons of Ra. But as Thoth began to share this wisdom, he realized that the world was not ready. The darkness was growing, and the hearts of men were becoming heavy with greed and ego. He saw the coming of a great cataclysm, not just of water and fire, but of the spirit. He knew that the knowledge had to be hidden until a time when humanity was once again ready to look into the mirror of the emerald. He placed the tablets in a hall of records and sealed them with a frequency that only the pure of heart could unlock. For thousands of years, they sat in the silence of the earth, while empires rose and fell above them. The Greeks came and took what they could understand. The Romans came and tried to burn the rest. But you cannot burn a frequency. You cannot bury a truth that is woven into the fabric of the universe. The African origins of this wisdom remain as a silent testament to the true height of our ancestry. And now the seals are beginning to break. The question is not whether the tablets exist, but whether you are ready for what they have to say. Because once you hear the voice of Thoth, you can never go back to being a child playing with pebbles. You must become the architect of your own destiny. The secret didn't just stay in the sand. It moved through the marrow of the human race. When we talk about the Emerald Tablets, we aren't talking about static pieces of rock. We are talking about a living transmission that traveled from the Nile to the Niger, from the mountains of Ethiopia to the deep forests of the Congo. The true tragedy of modern history isn't just that the libraries were burned, it's that the lineage was severed in our collective mind. We were taught to look at Africa as a dark continent, yet it was the very lighthouse of the ancient world. If you listen to the oral traditions of the Dogon or the Zulu, you hear the echoes of Thoth's voice, speaking of the Numo or the Chitauri, beings who brought the stars down to earth.
This wasn't mythology to them, it was a cosmic record. The tension here is palpable. If the primitive tribes of Africa knew about the orbital patterns of Sirius B thousands of years before the telescope was invented, where did that data come from? It came from the Emerald source. It came from the science of the soul that Thoth inscribed before the dawn of the written word. The second tablet speaks of the halls of Amenti, a space between dimensions where the great masters sit in eternal meditation, holding the balance of the world. This sounds like science fiction until you look at the cutting edge of quantum mechanics, which tells us that our physical reality is just a holographic projection from a deeper, non-physical source. The ancients called it the Amenti, we call it the quantum field. The difference is that they knew how to navigate it.
They understood that the human heart is a portal, a biological transducer capable of shifting the very laws of gravity and time. When Thoth speaks of conquering death, he isn't talking about living forever in a physical shell. He's talking about the continuity of consciousness. He's teaching us that the lead of our physical body can be transmuted into the gold of a light body. This African alchemy was the foundation of every mystery school that followed, from the Pythagoreans to the Templars. Yet the source remains buried in the melanin of the original masters. Why does this matter to you today? Because we are currently living in a state of spiritual malnutrition. We are surrounded by technology that we don't understand, and we are disconnected from the inner technology that makes us human.
The Emerald Tablets are a wake-up call. They remind us that the gods weren't just characters in a book, they were symbols for the highest potential of the human psyche. When Thoth took his fleet and fled the sinking Atlantis to reach the shores of Kem, he was preserving the first language, the language of vibration. This is why African spiritual traditions are so heavily rooted in rhythm, drumming, and chanting. These aren't just cultural expressions, they are vibrational tools designed to align the human nervous system with the frequency of the earth. The momentum of this discovery is unstoppable. Once you realize that your ancestors were the keepers of the universal laws, the chains of the present moment begin to feel like paper. The third tablet gets even darker and more mysterious. It talks about the brothers of darkness and the brothers of light. This is the eternal struggle that plays out in every human soul and every global conflict. The darkness Thoth describes isn't evil in a cartoonish sense. It is the force of entropy, the gravity that pulls us back into the unconsciousness of the animal kingdom. The light is the force of evolution, the fire that drives us to create, to understand, and to transcend. This struggle is why the knowledge was hidden. In the wrong hands, the ability to manipulate the mental universe becomes a tool for absolute tyranny. Imagine a dictator who understands the law of vibration. They wouldn't need a police state. They could simply broadcast a frequency of fear directly into the minds of the population. This is the hidden history of the world, a war of frequencies. And Thoth knew that the only way to win this war was to give the individual the tools to protect their own mind. We see the fingerprints of this African wisdom in the architecture of every major city on Earth. The obelisks in Washington, D.C., London, and Paris are all stolen Egyptian tekenu, stone needles designed to capture and ground celestial energy. But these modern cities have forgotten the why behind the what. They have the hardware, but they've lost the software. The software is what is written on the Emerald Tablets. It tells us that man is a star bound to a body, and that the path back to the stars is through the mastery of the 7 laws. If you feel a sense of unease or a feeling that something is wrong with the world, it's because you are living in a society that has inverted these laws. We value the material over the mental. We value the effect over the cause. We are trying to change the reflection in the mirror without changing the person standing in front of it. The tension rises when we realize that we're at a tipping point. The cycle that Thoth described, the cycle of ages, is coming to a close. The age of iron is ending, and the age of gold is struggling to be born. This is why the Emerald Tablets are resurfacing now. They aren't just historical curiosities, they are survival manuals for the shifting of an age. The narrative of the tablets suggests that when the world reaches a state of absolute chaos, the children of light will find the keys and unlock the gates of Amenti. This isn't a physical gate, it's a biological one. It's the activation of dormant strands of DNA that have been off for thousands of years. The African origins of this wisdom are crucial because they remind us of the root of the human tree. To grow into the future, we must first reconnect with the depth of our past. As we move toward the next revelation, ask yourself, why was this specific knowledge targeted for destruction? Why were the great libraries of Alexandria and Timbuktu the first things to be burned? It's because if you take away a people's history, you take away their power. If you make them believe they were nothing before they were colonized, they will never realize they were everything before the world began. The Emerald Tablets are the ultimate rebellion. They are the proof that the light of Africa didn't just illuminate a continent, it illuminated the entire human project. But the most shocking revelation is yet to come. It's not about what the tablets say. It's about what they do to the person who reads them. They are a catalyst. They are changing you right now as you listen. The emerald is not just a stone. It is a resonance. As we descend into the heart of the fourth and fifth tablets, the narrative shifts from history to a chillingly precise manual of cosmic physics. Thoth begins to speak of the spaceborn, a term that shatters our traditional understanding of human lineage. He describes how he learned to leave his physical body, projecting his consciousness through the gateways of the stars to witness the birth of galaxies. This is where the tension becomes unbearable for the modern skeptic. We are forced to ask, was Thoth a man who became a god, or a guardian from another dimension who saw in the African valley a perfect laboratory for the human experiment? The momentum of the script now moves into the key of mystery, where Thoth reveals that the greatest prison ever built wasn't made of stone or iron, but of time and space. He calls these the limitations of the flesh, and he insists that the Emerald Tablets are the vibration needed to shatter those walls. The African masters of Chem knew something that we are only just beginning to rediscover, that sound is the primary builder of form. In the ancient schools, students were taught that certain vocal tones could heal organs, shift matter, and even open portals to other realms. This is the word, or the logos, mentioned in later scriptures, but its origin is the African science of Hekau, the power of spoken vibration. Thoth claims that by reciting the Sons of Light incantations, one can pierce the veil, but here is the hook that keeps you watching. He warns that there are entities living in the angles of space, beings that do not move in curves like humans do. These shadow people feed on the low vibration emotions of fear, anger, and greed. If you've ever felt an inexplicable chill in a room or a sense of being watched from the darkness, the tablets suggest you aren't being paranoid. You are sensing the predators of the threshold. This is the true reason for the secrecy. The tablets provide a circle of light to protect the seeker from these dwellers in the shadows. But this protection requires a total mastery of the self. You cannot enter the halls of Amenti while carrying the weight of an ego-driven life. The African concept of Ma'at, balance, truth, and cosmic order, is the only currency accepted at the gate. When you hear the phrase weighing the heart against a feather, it isn't a poetic metaphor. It is a description of a literal energetic density check. If your heart is heavy with the lead of material attachment, you cannot float into the gold of the higher dimensions. The tension here is deeply personal. It forces you to look inward and ask, what is the weight of my soul? Am I a prisoner of my own shadows, or am I a child of the sun? Thoth's narrative then takes a startling turn into the nature of the Great Fire. He describes a central sun at the heart of the universe, not the physical sun we see in the sky, but a sun of spirit from which all life flows. The African shamans and Dogon elders speak of this same source. They understood that we are all extensions of this one flame. But the tablets warn that humanity has fallen into the darkness and forgotten its fiery origin. We have become dwellers in the deep, obsessed with the surface of things, while the true power lies in the depth. The momentum of this revelation is designed to pull you out of your daily routine and into a state of cosmic wonder. You aren't just a person watching a video. You are a localized point of consciousness exploring its own ancient blueprint. As we move through the middle sections of the tablets, Thoth provides the key to time. He explains that time is not a straight line, but a circle, or more accurately, a spiral. Everything that has happened will happen again, but on a different octave. This means the Golden Age isn't just a memory of the past, it is a prophecy of the future. The African origins of this wisdom are vital because they provide the anchor. Africa is the motherland not just of our bodies, but of our collective gnosis. By reclaiming the Emerald Tablets as an African legacy, we are reclaiming the roots of the human tree. We are realizing that the Dark Ages were simply a winter in the great year, and spring is finally beginning to bloom. But with the spring comes the storm. The tension rises as Thoth describes the 7 lords who govern the various levels of consciousness. These aren't just external deities, they are the 7 energy centers within your own body, the chakras. The tablets provide specific instructions on how to raise the serpent of energy from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. This jade pillar of the Egyptians is the same Jacob's ladder found in later myths. It is the antenna that allows you to tune in to the frequency of the gods. But Thoth warns that if this energy is raised prematurely, without the purification of the heart, it will burn the seeker. The path is narrow, and the stakes are infinite. This is why the wisdom was guarded by the Sphinx, the silent watcher who asks, "Who are you to claim the fire of the gods?" Why did the world try so hard to erase this? Imagine the power of a population that knows they are eternal. Imagine a world where people realize they are not victims of circumstance, but creators of reality. The Emerald Tablets are the most subversive document in human history because they render all external authority obsolete. They tell you that the master you are looking for is staring back at you in the mirror. But the journey is not over. The final tablets contain a secret so powerful it was said to be able to move the very earth from its orbit. It is the secret of the name of names, the vibration that summoned the universe into existence. We are standing at the edge of the final reveal, where the history of Africa and the future of humanity collide in a single blinding flash of light. As the voice of Thoth begins to echo louder in the chambers of your mind, you might feel a sense of vertigo. This is the shattering of the ego that the tablets promise. You are beginning to see through the matrix of the 14th century, the 21st century, and every century in between. You are entering the no time. The next part of our journey will take us into the final transformations, the ultimate ritual of the soul, and the shocking truth about why Thoth left the tablets behind in the first place. He didn't leave them for the kings of old. He left them for you at this exact moment in history. The countdown to the final revelation has begun. The final seal is breaking. We have traveled through the halls of history and the dimensions of the soul. But now we arrive at the revelation that the world's elite have spent millennia trying to suppress. The last of the Emerald Tablets doesn't just offer knowledge, it demands a total transformation. Thoth speaks of the light that is the essence of all, but he reveals a terrifying truth. This light is currently trapped. It is imprisoned within the density of our world, held captive by a collective forgetting. The African masters who first guarded these tablets understood that they weren't just the librarians of the past, they were the jailbreakers of the human spirit. They knew that as long as we believe we are separate, separate from each other, separate from the stars, and separate from the source, we remain in a state of living death. The tension of the final part of this journey is the realization that the door to the prison has been unlocked this entire time. Thoth describes the great secret of secrets, which is the power of the word to dissolve the illusion of matter. This isn't just about chanting in a temple. It is a profound scientific understanding that what we perceive as solid reality is actually a vibrating field of energy governed by intent. The ancient Chemite science of Sia, divine perception, taught that the human eye is not just a receiver of light, but a projector of it. You are literally painting the world into existence with every thought you hold. This is why the Emerald Tablets are the most dangerous documents on Earth. If the masses ever truly understood that their collective focus determines the fate of the planet, the systems of control that have dominated our species for the last 5,000 years would vanish in a heartbeat. The momentum of this truth is like a tidal wave, and we are standing right at the shoreline. But there is a final twist that redefines everything we've discussed. Thoth reveals that he is not a god in the way we understand it. He is a future version of us. He describes himself as a being who has completed the cycle of human evolution and looped back through the folds of time to plant the seeds of our own awakening. This means the Emerald Tablets are a message from your future self to your present self. They are a save file for the human soul. The African origins of this wisdom are the grounding point, the physical anchor that allowed this future frequency to manifest in our past. This isn't just about ancient history, it's about a cosmic feedback loop. You are listening to these words now because you, on some level, have already achieved the mastery Thoth describes, and you are reaching back through the static of time to wake yourself up. As the narrative reaches its peak, Thoth gives the final instruction. Look not to the stars for your salvation, for the stars are within you. This is the ultimate reversal. We have spent centuries looking up, looking out, and looking to experts for the truth. The Emerald Tablets tell us to look down, deep into the darkness of our own subconscious, for that is where the emerald is hidden. The stone of the wise is not something you find, it is something you become. The African sages knew this when they built the Great Pyramid as a reflection of the human spine and brain. They were mapping the internal ascent. The final part of the script is an invitation to take the leap of the heart. It is the moment where you stop being a consumer of mysteries and start being the mystery itself. The tension of the journey ends not with an answer, but with a profound silence. The silence of the Sahara, the silence of the Sphinx, and the silence between your breaths. In that silence, the voice of Thoth is finally clear. He says that the tablets were never meant to be understood by the logical mind. They were meant to be felt by the soul. The emerald is the green ray of the heart chakra, the center of the human energy system. To live the wisdom of the tablets is to live from the heart, in a state of unconditional truth and balance. This is the African origin of all wisdom, the realization that I am because we are, and we are because the source is. The story of Thoth and the Emerald Tablets isn't a documentary about a dead king. It is a live broadcast of your own unfolding. We stand at the end of the narrative, but the beginning of your application. The world is currently screaming in chaos, but beneath the noise, the frequency of the Emerald Tablets is humming louder than ever. You are now a keeper of this frequency.
You cannot unhear the truth. You cannot go back to the world of shadows.
You are a child of light, a star bound to a body, a traveler through the halls of Amenti. The African origins of this wisdom remind us that our roots are deep and our branches are reaching for the infinite. The final revelation is this: the Emerald Tablets were never lost. They were just waiting for you to be ready to read them. And now you are. The journey of the soul is a circle that never ends, a spiral that always ascends. From the sands of ancient Chem to the digital screens of the modern world, the message remains the same. Man, know thyself, and thou shalt know the universe and the gods. This is the legacy of the Emerald. This is the secret of Africa. This is the truth of you. The question is no longer what happened in the past. The only question that remains is, what will you create with this power today? The age of the hidden is over. The age of the revealed has begun. You are the architect. You are the scribe. You are the light.